trying to really understand education these days, it can sometimes feel like you're, I don't know, lost in a maze, right?
Yeah, totally.
Especially when you keep hearing about personalized learning, this like magical solution that
Hmm.
seems to be everywhere.
Yeah,
And as the learner, you're probably just looking for a clear path.
right.
You want solid information, right?
Absolutely.
You don't want to get lost in this fog of, all the educational buzzwords and jargon.
It's a real challenge.
What is?
I mean, tailoring education, right, to individual needs.
Yeah,
That is a really exciting idea.
of course.
But when there's just so much talk and so much information out there about it,
It's overwhelming.
it can feel completely overwhelming.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive
Okay.
into a really significant piece of research.
Okay.
It's a 2021 article in Educational Psychology Review.
All right.
It's by these researchers, Bernanke, Green, and Larboltowski. And the title, it's a mouthful, but it's a systematic review of research on personalized learning. Personalized by whom, to what, how, and for what purposes.
Okay, so systematic review. That sounds like they really went deep, like really comprehensive.
Absolutely.
So what's our mission here? What
Yeah.
should the learner, what should you really understand by the time we get to the end of this?
So think of this as like your express lane, right? To getting a really well-informed view on personalized learning.
Oh.
Because we're not just looking at one study here, we're looking at hundreds of them.
Wow.
So our goal is to, distill those really crucial understandings of what personalized learning actually means based on this big picture analysis.
I like it.
We want to have those aha moments, right? Where things
Yeah.
click,
Yeah.
cut through the confusion,
Absolutely.
maybe even find some surprising, angles that we hadn't thought about before.
Unexpected angles. All right,
Yeah.
I'm already interested. So this article actually gets into the nitty-gritty, right?
It does.
Of who's doing what in personalized learning research.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
It's a very rigorous examination
Right.
of, who's doing the research, who are they studying, what exactly are they trying to personalize,
Okay.
what methods are they using,
Yeah.
and what do they hope to actually achieve.
Okay, so it's like understanding the whole research scene around personalized learning.
Exactly.
All right, let's jump in. So with this massive amount of research that they looked at, what's the most important thing that they found? What jumps out?
Right off the bat, probably the most striking finding is that there isn't this one single, perfectly clear
Yeah.
definition of personalized learning that everybody agrees on.
Okay.
It's more like this, general idea
Right.
that people are interpreting in slightly different ways.
That actually really resonates with me.
Yeah.
Because you hear the term used in so many different contexts and settings.
All the time.
But surely there must be some kind of common starting point, right?
There is.
Okay.
So the paper talks about this U.S. Department of Education definition from way back in 2010,
Okay.
and it's one that's often cited.
Okay.
And it basically says that personalized learning is instruction that is paced to learning needs, tailored to learning preferences, and tailored to the specific interests of different learners.
Okay.
So sounds pretty straightforward.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you look at Table 1 in the review, and there's this whole array of other definitions from groups like OECD, Anna Kalan,
Okay.
Reed and McClaskey, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
So it's not just a little wording here and there. Are the core ideas different too?
Exactly.
Okay.
So Table 2 really highlights some of the major differences.
Okay.
These definitions, they vary in terms of what aspects of the learner they're focusing on. Right?
Okay.
So is it about what they already know? Is it
Yeah.
about what they like? Is it about how they prefer to learn? They also differ in what elements of the teaching are emphasized.
Okay.
So is it about the pace of things? Is it about how the information is presented? Or even what the learning goals are?
Okay.
And then finally, the outcomes they're actually aiming for
Yeah.
can be different. So is it primarily about test scores?
Okay.
Or are things like, student motivation and engagement just as important?
Right.
And what this really tells us, the learner, is that personalized learning, it's not so much a clearly defined destination.
Right.
It's more like a broad direction.
Yeah. Okay.
And this makes it really tricky then to compare different approaches
Yeah.
and to figure out, well, what actually works?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
If everybody's doing something a little bit different.
So this isn't just like a theoretical or academic point.
No.
How does this like lack of a shared definition actually play out when it comes to like educating students in the real world?
Yeah, it has some really significant practical effects.
Okay.
So, policies like, for example, the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESA, in the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
they provide some broad guidelines, and there's funding related to personalized learning.
Okay.
But they deliberately give states and even individual schools a lot of freedom
Oh, wow.
to decide what personalization actually looks like in practice.
Okay.
So the paper notes, for example, when they looked at state ESA plans, there was a ton of variation
Really?
in how states were thinking about this.
So, to the learner, building on that idea of diverse definitions, it's fascinating to see how that then trickles down into how actual education policies,
Right.
are being,
Right.
put in place,
Absolutely.
where it's like the high-level goals are there, but then how that actually gets implemented can be so different from place to place.
For sure.
So what one school calls personalized learning could be totally different from what another school down the road is doing.
Exactly.
Wow.
And, research suggests that often, schools will choose approaches based on the resources they already have,
Right.
which might not always be what the people who, created these models of personalized learning had in mind.
Right. Right.
In the RAND studies from 2014 and 2015,
Mm-hmm.
which the paper mentions,
Yeah.
found that, while these efforts
Yeah.
can have some positive results,
Right.
they also ran into, significant challenges when they were trying to implement them.
Right.
And this obviously, limited how well they actually worked.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like it can make it really hard to sort through all of this
Yeah.
and figure out what's actually effective
It does.
in personalized learning
It does.
if everybody's doing something different.
Yeah, and that's a crucial point.
Okay.
And the paper brings up this idea of what's called the jingle-jangle fallacy.
Okay. I like that.
So think of it this way, the learner.
Yeah.
It's like when we use the same word,
Okay.
personalized learning, to describe so many different things
Mm-hmm.
that the word itself kind of loses its meaning, right?
Yeah, totally.
So just because, two programs or two schools say, oh, we do personalized learning,
Right.
doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing things that are similar
Yeah.
or that they're going to get the same results.
Totally.
It's like, every new tech gadget that comes out,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is revolutionary.
Right.
And
Revolutionary.
at one point, the word just loses all meaning.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just marketing.
Exactly.
Okay. That's a really helpful way to think about it.
Oof.
So who are the people then that are doing this research?
Yeah.
Who's trying to make sense of all these different approaches?
It's a really interesting
Yeah.
and diverse group.
Okay.
So, we've got education researchers, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but the paper really highlights that people from computer science, engineering,
Yeah.
information technology, they're making really big contributions here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and we also see, researchers from psychology, business, communications,
Wow.
even things like library science, believe it or not.
Okay.
So figure 3 in the paper actually shows, this whole breakdown
Yeah.
of all the different fields.
Okay.
And what's interesting here, the learner, is that each of these different groups.
Yeah. Right. They're bringing their own
Right.
strengths and perspectives.
Absolutely.
So the computer scientists might be super focused on the tech.
Right. Exactly.
And then you have the psychologists
Yeah.
who are really looking at the cognitive stuff.
Yeah. How people learn.
Right. But that also means then that there needs to be better communication across all of these fields
Absolutely.
to kind of build a more unified understanding of what are we even talking about here?
100%. Yeah.
That's a broader range of fields than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Is this research happening kind of all around the world?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Feedier S1 in the paper gives this global view. And unsurprisingly, maybe
Yeah.
the USA, China, the UK, they've got the most researchers
Okay.
looking at personalized learning.
Makes sense.
But there are studies happening across all the inhabited continents.
Oh, wow.
Maybe a little less frequently in certain areas.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is that within the U.S.,
Yeah, okay.
it seems like there's more research activity happening in the states that actually have policies
Oh, okay.
supporting personalized learning.
That makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's like the research often follows where there's
The money.
the money, right?
Exactly.
Policy interest, funding.
Yeah.
So knowing that there's all these different kinds of researchers like working in all these different parts of the world,
Mm-hmm.
do they all tend to like share their findings in the same places?
Not always.
Okay.
So the paper points out, figure S2 and some of the text around it,
Yeah.
that researchers in, engineering and computer science,
Okay.
they often publish in conference proceedings,
Right.
which are really important in those fields.
Right.
Whereas education researchers, they tend to stick more to
Journals.
academic journals, yeah.
Okay.
So, it's like if you're only looking in one place,
Yeah.
you might be missing, half the picture.
Right. Right.
So the paper emphasizes, like, you really need to be looking at both journals and conference papers
Yeah.
to get a complete understanding of the research.
Okay, so we have a diverse group of researchers,
Mm.
different fields, working in all different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Now, who are they actually studying?
Yeah.
Like, what kinds of learners are involved in all this research?
So for the most part,
Yeah.
the learners in these studies, they're in K-12 schools and in universities.
Okay.
Figure 4 shows that really clearly.
Okay.
And there's actually a lot less research that focuses on younger children,
Okay.
like preschoolers, early elementary kids,
Interesting.
and also less on adults.
Okay.
People in grad programs, professional training, workplaces, or even like informal learning settings.
Interesting. Okay.
So really focus on those K-12 and higher ed students.
And like, where is all of this personalized learning taking place? Is it mostly like online? Is it in traditional classrooms? Like, where's it happening?
So what they found is that digital platforms, they play a huge role in personalized learning.
Really?
Over 80% of the programs that they looked at used some kind of learning technology,
Okay.
either fully online or in this like blended approach.
Okay.
And you can actually see that in figure S3.
All right.
It kind of visualizes all that.
So the learner, if you're looking at that figure, what really jumps out is just how dominant the focus on these digital tools.
Right, yeah, it's a really strong trend.
Okay.
But it is important to note that a good chunk, about 37% of the programs,
Mm-hmm.
weren't exclusively online.
Okay.
So that shows that personalized learning is also being explored in these more traditional
Right.
classroom settings.
Got it. Okay.
So it's not all about the tech.
Okay. And in terms of the like subjects or academic areas, where is personalized learning research? Like, what's getting the most attention?
So as you might guess, the STEM fields,
Okay.
science, technology, engineering, math,
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty prominent.
Yeah.
Figure S4 shows that. And that might be because, these subjects often involve a lot of problem solving,
Yeah.
which you can easily, adapt to different levels.
Right.
But English and language arts are also pretty well represented.
Okay.
And about 12% of the studies actually looked at personalized learning across multiple subjects.
Interesting.
So it's like this school-wide,
whole school approach.
whole school strategy.
Right.
So you're not just personalizing in one subject.
Got it.
You're trying to do it across the board.
So we have these different learners in these different settings, different subjects.
Mhm.
Now, what are they actually trying to personalize?
Yeah.
Like, what specific characteristics of the learner are they honing in on?
Yeah. So this is where it gets really, granular.
Okay.
Figure 6 and table 4 really break this down.
Okay.
So the most common learner characteristic that they're trying to personalize for is prior knowledge.
Okay.
So basically, what does a student already know,
Right.
and are they ready to learn the next thing?
Right.
Which makes sense, right?
Totally.
If you're going to tailor instruction,
Yeah,
it makes sense to start with what somebody already knows.
absolutely.
And then learner preferences, so how students like to learn
Okay.
and their interests.
Hmm.
Those are also really commonly considered.
Those all seem very logical, right?
Yeah.
But I also see learning styles on the list. And
Yeah.
that's a concept that I feel like is,
Oh, yeah.
kind of debated a lot
A lot of debate.
in education circles.
Huge debate.
So what's the deal with that?
Yeah, you're right to bring that up.
Okay.
And, the paper actually addresses this head on. They talk about learning styles, and they say, look, there's really not a lot of solid scientific evidence
Okay.
to support this idea
Mhm.
as a basis for teaching.
Right.
And they cite several studies, researchers, people like Pashler, Kirshner,
Okay.
who've raised some serious concerns about whether catering to these supposed learning styles actually improves learning.
Right.
And the authors of this review, they basically say, yeah, we agree with those concerns.
Wow.
So what this means, the learner, right,
Yeah.
is that we need to be really careful
Okay.
about focusing on approaches that don't actually have strong research behind them.
So evidence-based practice.
Evidence-based practice, yeah.
That's to be guiding all of this.
Okay, good point.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other, like, less common learner characteristics
Yeah.
that they're looking at?
Yeah.
So things like a student's specific learning needs,
Okay.
their informal language, personality traits, their cognitive style, and even things like their preferred pronouns.
All right, so really a range
It's a whole range.
of like individual differences that researchers are thinking about.
Absolutely.
Right.
Really trying to explore.
And does the focus on all these different characteristics, like does it vary depending on,
In terms
like
of
field of research?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So Figure 7 and Table 4 show this really well.
Okay.
For instance, education researchers, they tend to focus more on students' interests
Okay.
compared to other fields.
Okay.
On the flip side, engineers and computer scientists,
Yeah.
they actually tend to focus a lot more on
Learning styles?
learning styles.
Right.
Which, as we just discussed, is kind of interesting given that it's not really clear that that's
Super effective.
the best approach.
Right. Right.
So this kind of difference in focus across disciplines, that's a really key thing
Yeah.
that they found in this review.
All right. So we have a sense of like what's being personalized.
Right, different characteristics.
Yeah.
Now, what are they hoping to achieve through all of this?
Yeah.
What are the outcomes?
Right. So the intended outcomes,
Yeah.
you can find those in Figure S4 and Table 5.
Okay.
And the most common one, which probably isn't a huge surprise, is improved academic performance.
Right. Makes sense.
Right. I mean, if you're personalizing learning, you want students to do better.
Of course. Yeah.
After that, they often look at how students actually feel about their learning experience.
Okay.
So their perceptions, their satisfaction.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because if learning is better tailored to you,
Yeah.
you would think that you would be more, like, engaged and,
More motivated.
more motivated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully that translates to, feeling better about it and, enjoying it more.
Right. Right.
But they also look at other things too.
Okay. Like what?
So things like increasing student engagement, boosting their self-confidence in their ability to learn. Okay.
Which is called self-efficacy.
Yeah.
Improving their motivation, of course.
Right.
Making sure the learning platforms are user-friendly.
Yeah, the usability of the tech.
Usability, yeah.
Okay.
And even looking at these broader outcomes like grades and school discipline rates.
Wow.
So it's really a wide range
Yeah.
of potential benefits that they're investigating.
And just like with those learner characteristics, does the focus on those outcomes vary across the different research fields?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So Table 5 shows this.
Okay.
For example, education researchers, they're really focused on academic performance.
Okay.
But they seem to pay a lot less attention to student satisfaction and the usability of those personalized learning tools
Okay.
than, people in fields like engineering
Yeah.
and computer science.
Interesting. Different priorities.
Different priorities, different perspectives.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've got this, this really detailed picture now of what's being studied. But I remember you mentioned earlier this question of whether all this research is connected to these established learning theories.
Right.
So what did they find about that?
So this is a really key point.
Okay.
The paper found that a pretty significant portion of personalized learning research
Yeah.
doesn't explicitly state
Mm.
or really strongly connect to these established learning theories.
Really?
So often researchers aren't really saying, hey, here's the theory we're using to guide our design choices.
Interesting.
Or here's how we think this is going to lead to these learning results based on that theory.
It's like building a house without a blueprint.
It is, yeah.
You might end up with a structure.
Right.
But who knows if it's going to, be sound.
Yeah, exactly.
And safe.
So if you're not basing your work on some kind of theory, how do you even know if it's working?
Right.
Right. Or why it's working.
Yeah. Or why it's not working.
Or why it's not working.
Yeah. Okay, so are they saying that there's no connection to theory at all, or is it more a subtle thing?
It's definitely more subtle.
Okay.
So they point out that often there is this implicit connection to certain theories.
Got it.
And Figure 9 actually shows this.
Okay.
So, for example, let's say a system adapts to a student's prior knowledge
Okay.
that's implicitly aligned with the principles of mastery learning.
Okay. Remind us what mastery learning is.
So mastery learning, the learner, that's the idea that
Yeah.
students should really achieve a certain level of understanding
Yeah.
before they move on to the next thing.
Got it.
And then there's also this thing called the expertise reversal effect,
Expertise reversal effect.
which basically means the learner, beginners, they need a lot of guidance.
Okay.
But as they become more knowledgeable, too much help can actually slow them down.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
So the connection to theory is there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not always stated clearly or like fully explored. And the review also mentions the importance of multimedia learning principles,
Okay.
like the ones developed by Mayer.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that's a much more evidence-based approach
Right.
than just trying to, cater to learning styles.
Got it.
And they suggested theories of motivation,
Mm-hmm.
like, achievement goal theory, interest development, self-efficacy,
Okay.
expectancy value theory, self-determination theory.
Yeah.
All of these,
Of a lot of theories.
it is a lot.
Yeah.
But they're all really relevant to, like, how do we design these personalized learning experiences?
All right.
So, for example, like, how you frame a task
Okay.
can really impact students' motivation.
Right.
So, do you emphasize mastery?
Okay.
Do you connect it to their interests?
Mm-hmm.
Those things can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about this idea of identity-driven personalization?
Yeah.
Which you sometimes hear about.
Right.
What do they say about that?
So they're a little bit cautious
Okay.
about this idea.
Right.
So while they acknowledge, how important a learner's background and identity are,
Yeah.
they also highlight, like, the complexity of this area.
Okay.
And they're like, look, there's potential here
Yeah.
to misrepresent or oversimplify somebody's identity
Right.
if we're not really careful.
Right. You don't want to just like put people in a box
Exactly.
based on some aspect of their...
Exactly. So they suggest that, in some cases, focusing more on adaptability
Yeah. Okay.
might be a better.
What does that mean?
So adaptability is basically about giving learners meaningful choices and agency
Okay.
in their learning.
Got it.
Plass and Power talk about this,
Mm-hmm.
and the reviewers are kind of like, this might be a better way to go
Okay.
than trying to, like, personalize directly based on these potentially sensitive aspects of identity.
Okay. So it's like giving them options.
Options. Control.
Right. But not trying to like
Pigeonhole them.
pigeonhole them.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of this comes back to the need for like
Clarity.
clarity.
Big time.
So like what's the path forward here?
Yeah.
What do they suggest we do?
So the paper emphasizes that we need much more precise language
Okay.
when we talk about personalized learning.
Yeah.
So that means clearly defining those learner characteristics that you're addressing,
Mm-hmm.
exactly how information about those characteristics
Yeah.
is gathered and used to, like, tailor the learning,
Right.
and then what the specific intended outcomes are.
Right. So if everybody's using the same term to mean totally different things,
Right.
it's going to be really hard to like have a conversation
It's impossible.
to really figure out what's going
And
on.
it's just talking past each other.
Yeah, you're not speaking the same language.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
And then they bring up this really important idea of a theory of change.
Theory of change. Okay.
Yeah. And what this means is you're basically outlining this, like, cause and effect relationship.
Okay.
So how is this particular approach to personalization actually going to lead to
Yeah.
specific learning outcomes?
Okay.
And figure 10 in the paper
Mhm.
gives you an example of this in the context of personalizing based on the learning environment.
So it's not enough to just say, this is personalized.
Yeah.
You need